Hey y'all, BanDana Gramma here, doing a live stream on a Sunday. I just thought I'd take you outside and show you how things are growing in the yard, in my garden and on my fruit trees. We had some rain this morning. The last few days has been a lot of rain, but sun's coming out now, off and on. There's still some cloud cover that comes over, and I don't know if we'll get more sprinkles later in the day or not, but it feels good. The sun's warm and the breeze is cool, so it's very comfortable and nice. I'm out of breath. I was just running around on the porch getting the camera together, trying not to keep you guys waiting too long, the ones that knew I was going to come on. So let's take a look and I'll show you how the fruit's doing on my fruit trees. These glasses turn dark outside, so be expecting that. I'm going to switch the camera. There we go. Alright, here's my peach. And let's look for some peaches. How about up here? See some peaches up there? That's how big they are now. You can see my finger. So, you know, they're not too big. There's a smaller one, but seeing how this tree is only planted 2 springs ago, and look at all these nice peaches here. And down here, I'm not complaining. Woohoo! I'm really quite excited that my little peach tree is making peaches for me. So I think that's great. When I planted it, if you saw my other stream, you know it was only this tall, and it was just a bare root stick, and that was 2 springs ago. It was 5 feet tall. And now, here I am on my tippy toes, and you can see how tall it is. What's that, 8 feet? Pretty cool. Okay, and this one, another success story, planted at the same time, and look at all the nectarines on it. Look at this. It's Nectarine City here. Lots of nectarines. Now, I can't see your comments just yet because I have to look at them on my Kindle, and that's on the porch. I can't hold the camera and the Kindle. So I'll talk with you in a few minutes after I'm done showing you what I got here. Alright, I laid cardboard back there. I'm going to be planting something there soon. And here's my cherry tree with little bitty cherries started. It's done blooming. But you can see there's cherries starting on my cherry tree. I think I had a nice cluster of them over here. Where was that? Over here, yeah. So there's cherries on this tree. This is the Montmorency cherry, and that always produces for me. This is my Bing cherry, and it's a nice tree, but it's not producing. It's really tall. That's probably 10 feet tall. That was planted same time as the Montmorency. This one, though, I believe it had fire blight at one time, and it hasn't quite bounced back all the way yet. It's looking good. It's growing again. These main trunks you see, they weren't the main trunk originally. Down here where the scarring is, that's where there was a main trunk that came up, and I had to cut that off, and then these took over. So I don't know if it's ever going to do what I want it to do, but I'm going to give it another couple of years to see. But so far, no fruit. Alright, and over here, I am excited about my Asian pears. Look at these. They are everywhere. This one's 3 years old. I bought this one at a local garden store. But there's lots and lots of pears down below. up above. Yeah, quite a few. So I should be getting some nice Asian pears off that. I got quite a few off last year, and they were full-size, delicious Asian pears. Now this is a wisteria tree. It was a wisteria vine. I trained it into a bush tree thingy. My plan was to keep it cut back short so it would have a waterfall of wisteria flowers every spring, those purple grape-like flowers. But you know, wisterias take over everything, and I keep having to cut back the foliage because it will grow out here and strangle my fruit trees. It's just that invasive. So it has not gotten flowers, and it's been here 3 years. So I think I might be digging it up, putting another fruit tree in there. I say that almost every video. Now this one is my plum. And there's some plums growing. Let's see. There's one there. There's some here. This again was planted 2 springs ago. And for the height, it's probably 9 feet tall. And it was just a little 4-foot stick 2 springs ago. So I'm getting some fruit on that. My apricot is a pretty tree. It's espaliering beautifully on the fence, but it's never gotten a flower, and it's never gotten any fruit, of course, with no flowers. So I guess I'll wait another year for that. I don't think it needs a pollinator tree. I think it's self-pollinating. And my apple, this is a gala apple. You saw these blooming before. Now you see there's little tiny apples forming where the blooms were. See that? That's webbing. That's some kind of spider mite or something. I sprayed it a few days ago. I'm going to have to spray it again. See, there's damage. Got to get after that. And another apple, another couple apples here. And there was tons of blossoms going all up and down. So I think I'll get more apples too off of that. Alright, I'm coming down to the bottom of my veggie garden now to show you. If you watch me plant my lettuce, it needs weeding, but you can see there's the red lettuce I had in the bottom. And this is, right here is spinach. And I have bib lettuce and butter crunch lettuce. And up here there's a little bit of Swiss chard coming up. And that is poison ivy. I have to get rid of it. I tried spraying it with the salt, dish liquid, and vinegar 2 days in a row. And it looks a little wilted, but I don't think it's going to do anything. Okay, here's my strawberry bed. There are strawberries forming, and there are flowers everywhere. So I'll be getting some strawberries. Still haven't planted this bed. And someone asked me, because they saw my onions in the background of another video, they said, are those spring onions? And yes, they are mostly Egyptian walking onions and candy onions and some leeks. So they are doing fabulous. They grew all wintered over, and in the spring they were little, but they shot right up. And here's my hand so you can see the size. So they're doing well. And if you watched my videos, you saw me planting winter veggies, or the early cool veggies. So there's cauliflower and broccoli and collard greens. They're all up in here. Here's the collards. They're coming along. Now I want to tell you a little funny story about these beds. You see how they're made. They're raised beds, but they don't have any wood around them or anything. They're just mounds. And my grandkids, I think they were like 8 and 10, and they came out here and they said, "Grandma, it looks like you have graves in your backyard." And I said, "Well, don't you know that dead bodies make great compost?" They were very naive and gullible, and they just gave me the very strangest look. Since then, they understand Grandma was kidding. All right, here's some beets. My beets are growing a little bit. Now, all that green there, those are raspberries. And I'm going to have to start digging them up and moving them because they're supposed to be going against the fence, and they're encroaching into my beds now. So I'm going to give some away, and I'm going to plant more against the fence up there, replant them, transplant them. Okay, there's my garlic and my carrots. And these carrots wintered over, and they're looking great. And look at, they're to be carrots. See? They are getting to be carrots. So I don't know when I pick them. Probably before too long. I hope I'm not making you seasick by carrying this tripod. Okay, and up here, here's, if you didn't hear me describe this stuff before, now I'm going to forget the name of it. It's a faux oyster. The name will come to me. Can't remember it, but the roots taste like oysters. And I planted these last spring, and they never. So I thought the seed was no good. Well, here's 2 or 3 of them came up this year, so I was really glad about that. I'll think of the name of it, or one of you will probably type it in. And over here, past the weeds, is my rhubarb. And my rosemary. Here's the buds starting for the rosemary. And the comfrey back here is going crazy. Time for me to chop that stuff up and use it as compost or make some salves with it. I got a lot more out front. And this is my Granny Smith apple. No blossoms, no fruit. I don't know why. Maybe it just needs longer. It's pretty young. Another raspberry. And these are volunteer potatoes. I must have left some in the ground and they came up. So I'm gonna see if they'll grow. All right. So here's a view of my side gardens. I'm gonna plant tomatoes and peppers in there too, as soon as it's Mother's Day. And our seating area with my pickable espaliered fence, fruit tree fence growing around it, being trained. All right. And some rose bushes in front of my shed. These have not bloomed yet, but over here I've got some that are blooming. And I've got another small rhubarb right there. And back in that corner, kind of behind the shed, I've got my compost. And that little tree is actually it's a nut tree, a pecan tree. But it needs a mate, and that thing's like 12 years old, and it's tiny, and it doesn't get a lot of sun, so that's probably going to be dug up one day. And here's where I put my potting table for now to do my potting work out here. Okay, and there's my flower bed. No flowers coming up yet around the seating area. And my hydrangeas are filling in with some leaves. And my bleeding hearts are hanging on. There's still some bleeding hearts, but they're on their way out. You know, they don't last long. And we did yard work yesterday, and that stuff I can't compost because it was bags we had filled with like tomatoes that had blight and things like that that we had in plastic bags, and now you can't put them out unless they're in paper bags, so we rebagged them. And here's my fig tree. You see it's filling out nicely. I don't know if I'll get any fruit. I've never grown figs before, so I don't even know what to look like. Is this little nub here, is that going to be a fruit, the little nub? Or is that just part of the stem? I don't know. I'll be excited when I get fruit on them though. Okay, and here's my boysenberries. The flowers are blooming on the boysenberries. And over here is my goji berry. Never got any flowers, never got any berries. I planted it, I don't know if it was a year ago or 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah, I got it the same time I got the Stark Brothers. That's where I got it. So, I don't know if I got to amend the soil or just be patient. Don't know. Now, I'm going to take you out front to see my gardens out there. But first, I'm going to go back on the porch, look at my Kindle, and see who all's here visiting with me. And no, I didn't finish cleaning the porch yet, but there's a vast improvement. I'll have a grand reveal later when it's done and pretty. Now this, the one table I took out, that one's gone. The one I had the repotting stuff on. This stuff is my composter I got to put together. And all that is parts to the composter I got to put together. I'm hoping to get that done in the next day or two. But let me set this on the table. Okay. All right, Kitty, hey. Yeah, Kitty, we got to talk. I'll talk to you after this. North Dakota Pink, thank you for coming over. T, hello. Hey, Ashley. Lots of peaches, I know. I am so excited about those trees because I think if you read up on fruit trees, when you first plant them, you're not supposed to expect fruit for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or more. And I did buy the Supreme trees, which meant they were a little older than if you bought just the plain bare root ones. I think maybe a year older. So I've had them 2 years. Maybe it's a 3-year-old tree because I bought a Supreme that was a little bigger instead of the... But I'm really excited that the nectarine and the peach especially are really putting fruit on. One of the plums looks like it was putting quite a bit of fruit on. And the Gala apple is doing well. Uh-oh. It says, the fire, no. Cancel. All right. Peaches are looking awesome for 2 years. Yeah, might be 3 years because I did, like I said, got the Supreme. But either way, I'm really excited. And I've sprayed it a couple times with some organic stuff because when we moved into this house many years ago, we had a peach tree out front. And it always got, what do you call that, brown rot? This one end of the peach would start getting brown rot on it. So I had to find something to spray it with. And I found some organic stuff. I'm hoping it works. Also, that tree we had, it was beautiful. And it was so prolific. It got loaded with peaches, but so many of them were ruined by that brown spot. And then I didn't thin them out when they were so heavy on that tree. And it had a V crotch and it split right down the middle. Had to get rid of the tree because I didn't thin it. I kept thinking, it'll be all right. I want all those peaches. I guess greed got me. Yeah, I hope they're great producers this year, Dana. How do you keep the birds from enjoying your fruit? I do have some netting, and as they get closer to, you know, harvest time, I'll be throwing netting over the trees. Each year I try and buy one net and put it around. So same with my strawberries. I try and put some netting over my strawberries. Are you saying when planting a fruit tree to... Yeah, when you buy a fruit tree, read up on it or ask your grower or your your garden center, they usually take longer than, like the first year it'd be surprising for you to get fruit. It's not impossible. It does happen, especially if you really feed them well. Of course, I'm organic, so I'm saying compost, fish emulsion, things like that. Yeah, that's how long since I planted it. So it could have been as much as 2 years old when I planted it, but it was bare root, 4 feet, just a stick. It wasn't very big, maybe an inch around. Yeah, from seed be a lot longer. Yep. It's coming along. The yard's coming along. We don't use any pre-emergent stuff because we have all kinds of spring weeds here. You know, the henbit and what's all that? Just the lousy stuff you don't want growing in your yard usually. We get that first thing every spring, but then it doesn't last long. When the grass starts coming in, it kind of takes over, and the yard actually ends up looking pretty good, but it takes a while. It doesn't happen. You know, people who really take care of their lawns, and I don't know if they have to use chemicals or if they have other ways of doing it, but you know, they get grass right from the spring and it goes through. We don't. We've got kind of yucky yards until the grass comes in later. Hi, Grandma. How are you? Hi, Vicky. I'm glad you made it. I'm doing really well. Great. Those look incredible. No kidding. I know. I'm so excited. I pray over them, too. I hope that maybe that's helping. Anyone know how an oyster tastes? It tastes salty and fresh, and it's hard to describe. If you had clams, it's kind of similar, but it tastes like the sea. Yeah, only the ones that come from the sea. Oh yeah, I was going to try to remember the name of that plant. Oh, foo, I do know it. That's what happens when you get to be my age. You forget words, but if it comes to me, I'll let you know. But if you saw my first Williamsburg video where the garden tour guide was touring me through the garden, she was wonderful. She was just a fount of knowledge. And she talked about that plant, which is why I bought some seed. And she told all about it, how it was a faux oyster, and how back in colonial times they used it like that because they tried to be frugal and they didn't always have access to real oysters, and they would make casseroles and stuff using that, and it tasted like oysters. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to be excited to see my figs, Tammy. That area doesn't get a ton of sun, and I've seen garden guides that tell you to plant them in full sun, but then I've heard other people say they got them in semi-shade and they do fine, so I'm hoping it'll be alright because I've got that oak tree and the branches are going over the top of it. This is the east though, so the sun, the south is this way, so the sun does come through, and I think it will get under the branches and shine on it. Oh, figs form between the main stem and the leaf stem. It may take another year before you get figs. Thank you, Penny. That at least gives me a little something to go on. Uh-oh. It says the chat's unconnected. Well, do I have to get out and in again? How about refresh? The last comment I see on here, oops, it just went away. I'm refreshing. Hope it works. So you see the toolbox behind me. I got that out of the shed because I'm trying to do this. I may go live trying to put this thing together and ask anybody who knows how to do stuff like that, maybe walk me through it. Although I think I can get an online video too. I'm going to try that. But I got to go collect some more tools because they wanted these thingamajiggers, and I didn't have the right size these thingamajiggers, so I gotta go down in the basement and see if I've got more. I gotta get a 1/2 inch one and a 7/16 crescent wrench, and I had a couple of crescent wrenches, but they weren't that size, so I think I might have some in the basement. So later today I gotta go on a scavenger hunt and find all the tools they're telling me I need to put this together. And I've got this lousy drill that's new. I mean, it was new, I've only used it a few times, the Black & Decker. Now, it could be that I mixed up the charger, you know, those little box, what do you call them, the little black box things that you plug in the wall and then plug this into it to charge it. It could be I got the wrong one, because I've got so many of those laying around the house, and if it wasn't marked Black & Decker, maybe I'm trying to charge this with the wrong little, whatever that thing's called. See how knowledgeable I am in these things. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this chat and back in because it's not doing anything for me. So let's try it again. Silcomb. Because I assume there's more chat going on and I'm not seeing it. Alright, search for BanDana Gramma YouTube. And there's my live stream. Just wait till it finishes loading. And yes, that is me. That baby holding the ball, that's me. Okay, let's see if I got more of the chat now. Still loading. Okay, I think I do. Make it big again so I can read it. Okay, I got it up again. Let me go back to the last, my last one I read. Figs form, okay. Alright, now I'm back on. I have an unknown dwarf fruit tree I got on discount. Though I thought it might be cherry, but it looks different from BanDana's cherry. Yeah, I'm not knowledgeable enough to identify trees by leaves very well. I can oaks and maples and things like that, but fruit trees not so much. I've got this one tree back there that I didn't show you. I have in other videos, and I always thought it was a pear, and it never grew diddly squat. It never got a blossom, and I thought, well, maybe it needs a mate. Maybe it, you know, needs a pollinator tree, but even trees that need pollinators, don't they get flowers? I mean, that thing is 12 years old and it's small, it never grew much. So even if it needed a pollinator, I think it would still get blossoms, they just wouldn't get pollinated. And so I'm going to send another picture of it to Stark Brothers and ask them if it is indeed a pear tree. But I think it's going to be cut down and replaced by a better tree. Hey, Dolphin Man. So glad you're here. Sorry, Sheps, that your peach tree died. I just mentioned earlier I lost one too. I was heartbroken because it was really mature and did well, and I just got too greedy and kept all the fruit on it, and it got too heavy, split right down the middle. So Danny has a huge fig tree, yes. Tessie, hello. How's my girl? Hello, 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 hello. Everybody saying hello to Tessie. Oh, the deer eat your trees? Well, you can get this wrap stuff that goes around the bark that's supposed to help prevent against that, but maybe that's more for rabbits. Maybe the deer would just tear that off. I don't know. Concord grapes. No, Tessie. I have planted grapes twice back in my far corner, where I showed you the comfrey, and I kill it. I think I got to get it out of that corner where it's a little shady and bring it out more in the full sun. And probably, you know, I've never true confessions, something a gardener shouldn't admit to, but I've never tested my soil. And I should, because I know it needs specific amending. I keep putting compost on it and things like that. But I really, and you know, covering it with the wood chips and letting them rot down and stuff, that's always good. But I should have it tested so I know exactly what it needs. And I would love to have grapes. I'd love to make an arbor and have them, you know, go over. I've got 4 cattle panels over there. I've been asking my husband, I almost said nagging. Maybe I have, no, I haven't nagged him. Because I know that means no. If I nag him, it's a no. So, yeah, I've been asking if he could help me, because it takes, you know, it's hard for me, one person, to manage those 16 feet long cattle panels. And I think he will. Oh, next week's Mother's Day. Oh, I'll have all kinds of help next week. I'll get my girls to help me. We'll get it up. We'll get the rest of the garden weeded. I'll make sure I get the porch all finished so we're going to have a nice meal out here. Maybe we'll even have a tea party, and I should film part of that. Now, I asked my girls if they would be in one of my videos, and I think so far 3 or 4 of them said yes. So you'll be able to meet some of my girls. All right, what else is going here? How did you get your net way over to the tree? Just lucky, I guess, Dolphin Man. It worked. So I guess sometimes it's stronger than other times. And my husband isn't here running the Netflix on the TV. Maybe that helps. My mother-in-law had a fig tree that grew up to 2 stories high next to the back porch. We picked from the 2nd story window. Whoa, that's not going to be able to do that, that's for sure. Gotta go, Grandma. Okay, you're probably already going, Sheps, so bye-bye. Thank you, Sheps. All right. Kitty, I am so happy you helped me get this chat working. I know I've thanked you before, but really, it's so great to be able to do this. Because I was, 6 months not being able to do it? Okay, no glitches on my end. The stream has been flawless. Great. Wow. Good to know. Clear here. Wonderful. Alright. I just got chat disconnected again. Please try again later. Same thing I got before. And then when I signed back in, I was able to see it again. So I guess I could do that. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take you out front and show you what's happening out front. I just wanted to make sure it was holding up when I streamed all the way to the back of the yard. Because if it didn't do that, it wasn't going to get me out front. I may lose you because it's further distance to go out front. But let's give it a try. And I'm not going to be able to see the chat. I'll look at it again like I did now when I come back in. But here we go. Okay, here's the side of my house. You see I'm in suburbia. There's not a whole lot of land out front. So here I got some lily of the valley. And these are 2 azalea bushes. And there's some weed grown in them I got to take out. But one was red, one was white. They just finished blooming. They were gorgeous. And I got a lot of work to do out here. Those pots you see there, they're going to be taken down, replanted, and then stacked up again in topsy-turvy pots, but I'm going to move them over here and put fresh petunias in them. And I got a dahlia starting to come up here, and I've got hostas, and I got salvia, and rose bushes, and some decorative, I forget what it's called, to brighten up the corners here. Here's some of my roses. And these pots will be cleaned out and planted with petunias. And there's a Gerber daisy right there coming up. And there's that phlox I told you about last time. Since I filmed last time, my roses have been opening up. Here's a yellow. And here's a knockout rose. Knockout rose bush. Now this is the first year my lilac bloomed, and they're just about done, but here's a little hint of one here. And lilacs were my mom's favorite flower, so I really wanted to have lilacs in my yard. And you saw my beautiful little pink dogwood before? Well, it's done. They're so gorgeous, and then they tease you and they're gone, but I really enjoyed it for the few days I had it. And more of the phlox. There's some more of the phlox. Now this all needs to be cut out. You see I haven't worked out here yet. This has got to go. This is a black walnut. I know people desire to have those. We got them growing everywhere and they're a nuisance. This is what's left over from my, what's it called? It has great big huge flowers on it. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe somebody knows. But this will come off. These will grow up to be as big as these, and then they have giant, giant flowers on them that come all summer. Okay, there's my rosemary, or not rosemary. Yeah, rosemary. That's my rosemary. Backyard is lavender. They look alike. Okay, here's another yellow rose. And then another red one. And this is going to be gorgeous. This is a tree peony. And that usually gets loaded with huge blooms. Huge blooms on that. So that'll be gorgeous. More roses. There's another one of those nuisance black walnut trees growing. Now I've got canna. This is canna coming up from last year. I didn't think it would live through the winter, but it did. And this is a crepe myrtle. Hasn't gotten its flowers yet, but the leaves are pretty. And this is my side yard. I'll give you see, it's just a little piece of land, but way at the top, I've got blueberry bushes and thornless blackberries. But the yard is all full of yucky stuff. No, not good grass. And here will be orange lilies coming out soon, all around the front here. See the orange lilies? When they're in bloom, they look really pretty. And these are dappled willow. And they're a foliage plant. And in the spring, they get this beautiful orange tipped foliage on it that looks really nice against my oranges color house. So I've always liked those. And I have to cut them way back in the fall. I mean, really short. And then in the spring, they just go crazy and get big. And I got a lot of weeding to do here. This is comfrey. I never should have planted it out here because it is taking over my front garden. I'm going to have to dig it up and hope the roots aren't 3 feet deep. And you see I got lamb's ear. That's also pretty prolific. And my irises. A lot more weeding to do. What else? This is where I got most of my herbs, if I can find any. Okay, here's yarrow. Right there is yarrow. And golly, I've got a bunch more. Okay, this is sage. This is oregano. There's a little bit of lemon thyme down here. Doesn't seem to be doing much. That green plant right there is a balloon flower. And if you've never seen those, they're pretty cool. They look like little balloons when they come to flower. And this garden needs a lot of work. I'll be getting to it this week. I want everything nice before Mother's Day. Another black walnut. Got to get rid of that. That's a weed. That's chrysanthemum. And this I'm going to repot. Yeah, this garden isn't anything to brag about right now. But I think if you use your imagination, you can see that the front of the house looks pretty when everything is mulched and weeded and growing nice. It'll happen. It'll happen. Oh, and here's some pansies. Pansies I want to get planted. All right, going back to the porch now to check the comments. He's still here, that's good. All right, let me get down to my last remembered comment. Oh, well, it's only let me go so far. Okay, the first new one I see is Tessie saying it's been raining for days. And Wendy's here. Hello, Wendy. Penny, label them. I don't know if she's talking to me or somebody else. Oh, I know. The herbs. Yeah. At one time I did, but I put them on popsicle sticks or something, and that doesn't last, so I got to redo it. Allison just got in from church. Coming in fine in Georgia. I'm hoping it all came in from the front garden. That's great to know my Wi-Fi will pick up out there. If it did, I'll find out as I scan this chat and see if you lost me or not. Had to have the heat on yesterday in Virginia. And Tammy. Hi, TJ. Just giving a garden tour. And enjoying that I have a chat now. Animals eating up plants and seeds. That's a bummer. Hello, Anna. Okay, Penny's telling Tessie she made fig everything. Fig Newtons. Yeah, my husband loves fig Newtons, so I'm hoping I can do that too. Is it true you have to have 2 fig trees to get figs? I think I only got the one, because when I ordered my trees, including that one, all at the same time, if it said it needed 2, I got 2. So I'm thinking that one must have said it was a self-pollinator or whatever. I didn't need it. I can't type. Okay, Tessie says, sounds so nice, Grandma. Not sure what she was referring to because I couldn't see it at the time I said it. I have had these irises in for 6 years. Animals even ate the bulbs. Oh, Anna, I'm so sorry. That's rotten. Voles are eating the... Yeah. Put the troops to work. Better than any store-bought gifts. So that's when I was talking about having my girls help me. Yeah. Yeah, they've done that in years past. In fact, this porch... See that painted wall there, and well, there's stuff in the way, but all that, they did that one Mother's Day for me because I wanted a beachy looking porch, so they came and they painted the walls for me. Chat is good here, says Anna. Hello, Maggie, good to see you. The birds sound lovely. I love the birds here. You know, we moved to Maryland from Virginia. My husband had graduated from college, and we had a bunch of kids. And we moved to Virginia for his first job, and we moved to Hopewell, Virginia. And the people there were wonderful, and the church there was wonderful, and the school he was in was wonderful. But the town was supported by chemical plants. And they kept saying everything was safe and, you know, EPA this and EPA that and testing and all, but you always smelled something in the air. And there was always problems with the James River. You know, they'd say it had pollutants in it or something. And I don't know how I didn't notice. We lived there 2 years, but when we moved to Maryland, all of a sudden I heard birds. And I'm thinking, I don't remember ever seeing a bird in Hopewell. So I thought, you know, they probably said it's time to get out of Dodge when the chemical plants moved in. So while I love the people there and all, even though they said it was safe, I don't trust it. I don't think so. Chemicals are chemicals after all. I mean, Dow Chemical was there and a bunch more. The roses are beautiful. I love my roses. My husband loves the roses too. So, wow, that looks awesome, BG. Rick Thomas. I guess he's talking about the roses. What's the name of that? The flower out front that had all the sticks. Oh, it's a very well-known one. And the flowers are like this big. And they keep coming all summer long until the frost kills them off. It's a wonderful plant to have. I'm lucky that one of my daughters works at a garden center, and that one, somebody had bought it, and they took it home, and they drowned it, and then they brought it back and said it was dead, and my daughter tried to say, well, it's not dead, but you can do that, and oh no, it's dead, I want another one, so my daughter couldn't resell it, so I got it. And it grew and it did perfect. Okay, it's been very windy and cold here. I don't know where you are, Anna. They are beautiful in the fall when the leaves change too. I'm guessing she's talking about the crepe myrtle. I have 4 baby robins right outside my door. Very nice. Yeah, Maggie, that crossed my mind too, that the pear I had might be an ornamental pear. Although it doesn't get any flowers, and don't the ornamentals get flowers? Yeah, I think that puppy's coming down. And I'm going to put something out there that gives me fruit. Hibiscus! That's it. Yes. Yes, Penny. Yes. Hibiscus. That's what it is. Thank you. Just couldn't remember what the name was. The walnut is very bad for the rest of your garden. Major nuisance for sure. Yes. And we're always pulling them out. The squirrels, there's walnuts out in the woods or something, and the squirrels get all the nuts, and they bring them here and bury them and grow the trees. Not appreciated. No, I haven't had any rabbits eat my irises. What is comfrey and how do you use it? I'm sure since that question was asked, people have answered it. So I'll wait and see. Can be medicinal. Yes. What I know about it is that it used to be called, or still is referred to as knit bone or bone knit. What I understand is that it actually speeds up the cellular process in your body. So if you like take it and make a compress of it, if you've sprained your wrist or broken a bone, you're supposed to be able to make a compress of it, and it's supposed to actually speed up the cellular healing properties of your body. That's why they called it bone knit or knit bone. It sounds fascinating, doesn't it? And you can make salves with it, and yes, Tessie has a video on it, and I hope to do one too someday because I really want to make salve with mine because I've got a lot of it. But what I'm mostly going to use it for to begin with is as a what you put on things to make it grow, not a fertilizer, compost tea. And it supercharges compost. So if you've got compost piles and you put in comfrey, it really supercharges it and makes it break down faster. And also, because comfrey has such long roots, it goes down and it gets minerals and nutrients deep in the soil that other plants don't get down to get. And then it takes those minerals and nutrients and it brings it up to the leaves. And you see the size of the leaves. And that's why you can chop and drop the leaves all around your fruit trees or onto your garden beds like a, I want to say hugelkultur, that's not the word, permaculture, and use that as a fertilizer, and it really does feed it well. Make tea too, I believe. You can make compost tea. I think it's controversial whether or not to ingest it, because I know you can make really good compost tea, but not people tea. There's controversy about that. Infused oils. Tessie's going to teach me how to do that, and she can sell hers up in Pennsylvania, and maybe I can sell some of mine down here in Maryland. Healing salve. That's exactly what I want to do it. Yep, good for bruises. That speeding up the cellular process. Yep. North Dakota Paint. Tessie has a wonderful channel. Yes, definitely go check it out. In a month, the front garden will look great. Yes, it will. After next weekend, when my girls come, I'm really hoping they can. Now, I know one of my daughters is having back surgery June 13th, and she's in a pretty bad way, and I don't even know if she can make it just to come and enjoy the day with us here on the porch with a meal or whatever. She's laid up. So I appreciate your prayers for my daughter Jen. We're a little concerned about the surgery. You know, it's the back and the spine and all that, so please pray for my daughter Jen. Aw, thank you, Maggie, saying my garden's beautiful. Beautiful tour. Well, thank you. I was a little hesitant to do it because I haven't gotten it gorgeous yet with the mulch and getting all the weeds out, but, you know, I want to be real. It isn't always beautiful. It isn't always perfect, but you got imaginations. You can see how hard I work to try and get it going. Anna's from Iowa. Okay. I wonder if you're anywhere near Big Family Homestead or Going Batty. They're around the Lebanon area. Oh, Penny. So you're familiar with Hopewell. Oh, I skipped something here. Uh-oh. I use comfrey. Okay, I missed some. Okay. Be aware that comfrey tea can burn the roots of your plants if not diluted properly. Yeah. If I make comfrey tea, I'm going to make it with, you know, fish emulsion and a lot of water and compost, and then I'll add a little comfrey into it as well. Bye, Music Well. You're probably gone already. Wow, I skipped a bunch. How'd that happen? And Music Well just said what I said. That, I mean, I must have repeated it, not seeing hers. Music Well, are you a he or she? Probably a she. Love my baby photo. You know what's funny? You know how I've been doing the fairy thing, just doing a little whimsical thing with my videos, and I got the magic fairies coming and things popping in. Well, my dad has a video of me where I'm like maybe 2, and I'm sitting on this little table, and then I disappear, and then I appear under the table. I gotta find a way to get that on my video and work it into one of my fairy things. Maybe I'll be pushed back in time and made a baby again and pop in and out. That would be funny, wouldn't it? BanDana Gramma can be very silly sometimes. Okay. Of course we are all here. We love you, Grandma. Huh, Tessie, I love you too. Okay, pink comfrey is a type of herb, good for chop and drop on your veg, flowers, etc. Also used for tea. Just rip off the leaves and soak a few days. It does have a bad smell. Thank you, PJD. I didn't see that earlier. Yes, hit the like button for Grandma. I like to be liked. Love your baby photo. Okay, so that love the layout of your garden. Thank you, Wendy. All right, now, good day to you, BanDana Grandma Kanzi. Okay, I don't know if that means she's leaving or just saying hello, but she was in earlier. Okay. Alright, now I'm back down to where comfrey can burn the roots. Okay, medicinal salves. Alright, now I'm catching up. Alright, so Penny's telling me that that area still smells, but it's mostly paper mills. So Penny must be familiar with Hopewell. Yeah, hardy hibiscus. That is the stick plant. Yes, indeed. Has anyone used cedar tea for their plants? We use this for our gardens. Works great. Never heard of that. I am growing hibiscus flower to teas. Cases. Hello, Cases. Welcome. Praying for your daughter. Thank you so much. We are really quite concerned. It's a risky surgery, and she has some other issues that make it even riskier. She, well, anytime, you know, it's your daughter, and they're going to be doing surgery. You're going to be concerned if it's a tonsillectomy or if it's a back surgery. You're going to be concerned. BanDana, Gramma, and I visited each other. Gramma has some videos on it. Yes, Tessie and I got together. We had a wonderful time, and we did some videos together. And it won't be the last time we do that. And I'm hoping she comes here. But if she can't get away because her husband works a lot, then I'm just going to have to go back up there. BanDana, Mrs. BanDana, are you thinking of going to the Ohio Big Family Homestead get-together on June 3rd? I so very much wanted to go to that Dolphin Man. I just so wanted to go. But my husband's a teacher, and his last day for school is June 9th. So we can't really get away and come back. Plus, my youngest daughter's getting married on June 11th. So there's so much preparation and everything. There's no way I can get away for that. But I am hoping, because my husband's off the whole summer from school, that we can take a trip out that way afterward. I know you probably won't be there. You're in Georgia and you're coming all the way up to Ohio. I think that's wonderful. But yeah, I'll be at the conference in Northern Virginia in October, and I hope to do some traveling this summer and maybe stop in to see Big Family Homestead and Go and Batty then. And if they can get another little get-together together, that would be wonderful, so local people could come. But if they've already done one, I understand that might not be possible. But I'd like to see them anyway. Okay, my husband was talking. Who needs prayers? Yeah, I think you've already heard then by now. We'll be praying for Jenny and your family. Her surgery goes well. We know God will be guiding the surgeon's hands, that he will bring about healing and love. Thank you, Maggie. Lived 40 years in Virginia, now in Georgia. Okay. Were you around Richmond? All right, looks like I'm all caught up on the chat. That's the last one I see, where Penny's saying she lived 40 years in Virginia. All right, so yes, if you could like the video, the chat, that would be great. Every little bit helps. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. Oh, I told you the story about my grandkids asking about the graves in my yard. Well, there was another incident that happened that same weekend, and I was in the kitchen and I was making dinner, and I keep bags on my sink whereas I'm doing my peeling and chopping, and I get my kitchen waste, I throw them in these bags, and then I'll take them out and put them in the compost. And sometimes I'll run them through my blender, my food processor first, because the more they're broken down, the quicker that they'll compost. So I took my coffee grounds and my eggshells and all the peelings, and some of them were a few days old, and I threw them in my food processor, and I'm starting to whiz them around, and two of my grandkids come out, the same ones who were asking me about the graves in the end. They got a weird grandma. So they came out and they're saying, "Grandma, what's that?" And I said, "Oh, this stuff, you don't want to throw it away. It makes a nourishing soup. Didn't you know that?" Well, the one almost tossed his cookies because he has a very tender tummy. So my son was saying, "Mom, don't tell them that. They'll believe you." So then I had to explain to him and teach him about composting. But yeah. That was kind of funny. So, let's see. Anything more? Yes, you are all caught up. Google comfrey. Yes, you can drink his tea. Yeah, I've seen yays and nays, so I guess it depends what Google you believe. 40 years now, and okay. Yes, you're all caught up. Living in Shenandoah Valley. That's beautiful. I could use some prayers for tomorrow. 10 injections to the spine. Back is, oh my. Let's pray right now for Anna. Lord and Father, thank you for how we can come together before you, even on the internet, Lord. Because you tell us wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in your name, there you are in the midst of us. So this is wherever as you can get, wherever 2 or 3. And Lord, I lift up Anna to you, Father, and I ask you to be with her and her spine injections tomorrow. Lord, give the surgeons wisdom and a skill to do exactly what is needed and to give her relief, Father, and let it be successful. In Jesus' name, amen. This is BanDana. Please say to us some of the internet channels you enjoy so much. Well, let's see. Of course, I watch Big Family Homestead. I watch Going Batty. I like them. I really like Tessie. Homestead Tessie. I really like Rain Country. Rain Country with Homestead with Heidi. Let me think now. I'm not good spur of the moment because my brain needs time to reflect because I forget things easy. Because there could be something I watch every single day and forget. I watch Hope's Homestead because I love to see her raising her rabbits and chickens and quail. And her kids are cute. That Olivia, oh, what a darling. So I watch Hope's Homestead. I love Daddy Kerb's Farm, Kirbs. Daddy Kerb's Farm, if you're not familiar with him, really sweet man with a lovely family. And one of his sons is autistic, Luke. And he comes out and gardens with his dad. And it's quite interesting to watch how sweet he is with Luke and how Luke is learning how to do all things gardening. And anytime you get a smile for Luke, it's like the sun shining because they come kind of few and far between. He is autistic after all, but he's a darling. And lovely family. So Daddy Kerb's Farm. His name is Blake Kirby, I think. So I really like Daddy Kerb's. Okay, Kitty loves Blake Kirby. All right. Keep those grandkids guessing. They'll remember those moments the most. Yeah, they'll say, boy, we had a weird grandma. Okay, let's see if I missed anything else. Yeah, I remember things about my grandpa too. I got a funny story about my grandpa. Now, there's a couple of things. My maiden name was Howes, Howes. And my father's name, of course, was Howes. So his mother was married to a man named Howes, and then they were divorced, and she married a man named Howe, Howe. So that was bizarre, and my father used to get in trouble. He went to a Catholic school, I think, when he was real little, and the nuns used to get after him because he would sign his papers Howes, Howes, and his report cards would come back signed by his parents Howe. So they said, your name is not Howes, it's Howe, take that S off. And he'd say, no, my name is Howes. So he always got in trouble for that, but that's beside the point. So my grandpa Howe, who really raised my dad, he used to always call me Wendy. And I thought that was the cutest little nickname because I was young and I had seen Peter Pan and, Wendy and Peter Pan. And I thought, well, he thinks enough about me. He gave me a little nickname, Wendy, instead of Susie. So I thought, that's okay. I like that he's going to give me a Wendy name. So you know, all growing up, he'd call me Wendy. And then after Grandpa had passed, it was probably 10 years after my Grandpa Bob had passed, I was talking to my mom, and I said, you know what I remember most about Grandpa Bob? I said that he used to call me Wendy. He had a little nickname for me, Wendy. And my mom said, he wasn't calling you Wendy. He was calling you Windy because you never shut up. So, yeah, things your grandparents say you remember. Life with Luke. I just discovered Life with Luke a couple days ago when they had Luke's birthday, and I signed up for it. Yep. Oh, I got another story about that. No, they will say they had a great grandma. Thank you. Oh, is Claire? Hi, Claire. Oh, Susan, hello. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's another one I love. Alderman Farms. Patty and Tommy, just love them. I just love them as people. Really great people. I got a sneeze coming. Trying not to sneeze. All right, what else did I miss here? Daddy Curbs is great. That's a new channel to me. Luke just turned 20. Yeah, just had a birthday. Alrighty. Where are we going here? You are also sunshine bandaning. Oh, thank you, Maggie. All right. Okay, and there's another little funny story about going to a Catholic school. My husband went to a Catholic school in first grade, I think. Now you got to remember this was way back in, let's see, the 50s. You know, things have changed a lot, but back then all the teachers were kind of nuns, and some of them were pretty stern. And what he remembers about it was, he said every Monday he'd go in and they'd ask each kid, did you go to church yesterday? And he didn't. So he'd say, well, no. And they'd say, stick out your hand, and they'd whack him with the ruler. He was like 6 years old. You know, like he had something to say about whether or not he went to church. So after a while, on Mondays, he didn't want to go to school. And his mother says, why don't you want to go to school? There's nothing wrong with you. And because he kept having this phantom stomach ache every Monday. So finally he told her, he said, well, every Monday they say, do you go to church on Sunday? And when I tell them no, they hit me with the ruler. And she said, well, dummy, tell them you went to church. So, yeah. That's what happened to him. Yeah, the ruler. So I don't have any more silly stories to tell you, off the top of my head anyway. And you've seen my garden, and the porch isn't done yet, so it's come quite a ways, but I got some more to do. So when I get it all finished, I'm going to make a video. I'll make a video about finishing up the porch, and I'm going to use some of the live stream I had from the other day, but I'm going to edit out all that slow stuff. And some that isn't live stream, that's just things I've done on the porch. And I'm going to decorate it up, and I'm going to get it looking pretty for next weekend when we have Mother's Day here. So I'll make sure I make a video about kind of a before and after, because it was such a mess. Yeah. So if you have anything you'd like to see me do on video or talk about, then put it down there. You want to contact me, my contact information will be on this video. And I'm Susie BanDana on Facebook, Susie BanDana. And on Gmail, I'm bandanagrama@gmail.com. But BanDana there has two N's at the end, BANDANNA. or normally it only has one A. On Gmail, it has two N's at the end. Two N's at the end. So I guess that's all I have to chit-chat about today. Make sure there's nothing else. Yeah, you can't put links in unless you're a moderator. That's how they all work. We will be married 50, no, we'll be married 49 years in October. Our 49th wedding anniversary is October. And we have 7 kids. My oldest is 46 and my youngest is 29. The one who's getting married in June is 29. So, yeah. You want to pray for all my kids, I wouldn't mind. I always covet prayers for my kids. I still call them kids even though they're young adults, middle-aged adults. All right, check one more time, make sure. Oh, thank you, Tessie, for putting the link in. Oh, is that for Daddy Curbs? I can't read the whole thing here. All right, everybody, thanks for coming by. I hope to do these regularly. And the next one will probably be me in my kitchen making a meal to share with you. Unless there's something amazing going on out here. And I will be making that video about redoing my porch up. So thanks for coming by. And be sure to like this video and leave your comments on the video after the live stream's over. Because that helps too. Bye-bye, y'all.